Hello friends, my name is Rajesh Babbar and today in this video I am going to tell you about Mars and Jupiter conjunction. When Mars follows Jupiter, what happens in your life and what Mars gives to Jupiter. So in my previous videos I had told that I'll be taking Mars and I'm going to tell you something important about Mars. So this is the series I have started. I'll take one by one all the planets when Mars follows the other planet, what results you get in the birth chart. So the entire video is on this concept only. When Mars follows Jupiter, what happens and how to see the timing of the event also. That also I'll give you a small example. So before I begin my video, I pray to Lord Ganesha and Lord Shanidev help us learn this divine knowledge. So whenever you read a birth chart, one important point you should always focus is check for the conjunction of planets. Forget about the degrees for now. Just check which planets are placed in the same house, because conjunction of planets gives 100% results. Then second, check which planets are in 1-5 trines, 5th house, 9th house. That gives 70 to 80% results. Then third, check which planet is aspecting the other planet. That gives around 50 to 60% results. And also check the second house from every planet. If there is any planet placed, that also gives 30 to 40% result. So the main prime focus should be on conjunction of planets, whether they are 2 planet conjunction, 3 planet conjunction or 4 planet conjunction. That is very important in the birth chart. So let's begin my video. So I'll explain you with the help of simple, very precise example. Let's say this is a particular house. Mars is placed here at 7 degrees. Jupiter is placed here in the same house in the 8 degrees. So when the planet has lesser degrees, the other planet placed with him has higher degrees. This means in Bhrigu Naadi technique that the lesser degree planet is following the higher degree planet. So here Mars is following Jupiter. So to begin with, you should always be aware about the significations of Mars. That is very, very important. So first, Mars is land and property. Mars is a planet of ego. Mars is a planet of sports. Mars is a planet of government. Mars, land and property, as I have already told you. Mars is adamant nature. Mars is hospitalization, surgery, accidents, wounds in your body. Mars is called needle in Bhrigu Nadi, or in the other words, in simple words, you can say it is a injection. Mars, that I have already told you. And in male chart, it is younger brother. In female charts, it is the husband of the native. So not going deeper into a lot of significations, I'll take only 2 significations into consideration. Mars is land and property. Second, Mars is disease because it relates to blood. Mars is hospitalization. And third, as I have told you, Mars is needle. So these 3 important points I am going to take. First is land. Then second is needle. And third is hospital. Or in the other words, you can say disease. Mars is the causative planet of blood. So only these 3 significations I'll take into consideration and explain you with the help of one example if I get time, or I'll continue this video in the second part. So first, when Mars follows Jupiter, what is Jupiter? Jupiter is the life force. Jupiter is the native who has come for consultation, whether it is a male chart, whether it is a female chart. For females, we take Venus also into consideration as the life force, but Jupiter is the main life force, whether it is a female or a male. So Jupiter gives public dealing. Jupiter is famous. Jupiter gives you. Jupiter is a public personality. It makes you famous in the public, and it gives you name and fame. Jupiter represents your stomach part. Jupiter also represents your functioning of liver. So these things in the coming videos I'll explain more deeply, but what we require now, that is enough for us. So Jupiter is the life force. You always have to remember this. I will write also here. It is life force. Life force, or you can call the native. So when Mars follows Jupiter, so first quality of Mars is land and property. So when it follows Jupiter, he is going to give his good qualities as well as bad qualities to Jupiter. So the native will have land and property. This can be in later stages. Sometimes it comes in early stages also, but normally in the second round of Saturn, this land and property comes into picture. In that period, person makes his own land and property, whether he gets ancestral property or he gets land from his relatives or brothers or sisters. But normally when Mars follows Jupiter, that person definitely has his own house. So this is one strong combination, and it is a very good combination also. Second, as I told you in the starting of the video, Mars is ego. So when Mars follows Jupiter, he is going to give ego in native, into native. So when Mars is ego, so when Mars follows Jupiter, the native will become very egoistic. When Mars follows Jupiter, he will become very adamant in nature. He is not going to listen to anyone. And when Mars follows Jupiter, when Mars follows Jupiter, these type of persons, they think that they are the most intelligent persons in the world, and whatever they say is totally correct. What the other person is saying is totally incorrect. And Mars when follows Jupiter, these persons will always try to put their leg on top of others. So this is the tendency of Mars when follows Jupiter. Mars is also the causative planet of accidents. So when transit of Ketu, transit of Saturn affects this combination, in that period you can face cuts, wounds, or even small accidents, or sometimes major accidents also. Mars when follows Jupiter, it gives you surgery. This is a very strong combination. You can check in male charts, you can check in female charts. If Mars is following Jupiter in a second round of Saturn or in third round of Ketu, it gives you surgery or maybe a cut or wound in your body. Then Mars is the causative planet of blood. So persons who have this combination, Mars following Jupiter, they can have blood pressure problem. This problem can come in later stages of life also. Don't get confused that my Mars and Jupiter is together, I'll have blood pressure. This varies from age to age, and it also varies from the rounds of Jupiter also. That I'll cover in my later videos. So finally, Mars is needle. Mars is needle, or in other words, you can say it is a injection. So when Mars with needle follows Jupiter, he is going to pierce the needle into Jupiter, into the native's life, and that native will be hospitalized, or he will have that surgery part that I have told you. Last, Mars is also hospitalization. So people who have these combinations, it can affect your health very severely when there will be bad transit combinations. So these are like simple techniques. When you read a conjunction in the birth chart, you must follow the degrees properly and see which planet is following the other planet, and that planet, whether good or bad, he will deliver all his qualities to the successive planet, the planet who is in the higher degrees. So now second, we will see timing of event. So normally when Saturn transits, that gives timing of event. So I'll give you one small example. Let's say this Mars and Jupiter are placed in 3 number sign or in Gemini sign. So Gemini sign is the west direction. It is the west direction. So in west direction there are three more signs, 7 and 11. They are all in the same directions. So when in transit Saturn comes in Gemini or in Libra or in Aquarius, he will aspect this combination, especially when a person having Mars and Jupiter in Gemini and from the fifth from Gemini, that is Libra, or from the ninth Aquarius, that gives more severe effects or more timing of events in that period. So when Saturn comes in west direction, you can get land and property in that period because Saturn is the planet of action. So I'll write here Saturn in transit. Saturn in transit when it comes in west direction, that is 3, 7 or 11. So this is very important for timing of event. When this combination gets active, the results will come. When this combination gets active by Saturn, you will see results happening in your life. Because Mars is land and property, Saturn is action, he will give you land and property in this period. Because Saturn and Mars are enemies, you will also get health issues, accidents, or some kind of cuts or wounds in your body. So everything that is going to happen will happen when transit of planets take their movement in the birth chart. Now to further narrow down, let's say if someone has Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn comes in Aquarius in the ninth from Gemini, the person will have health issues or, as I told you, land and property also. But for health issues, Saturn is going to stay for 2.5 years in Aquarius or in the same west direction. So for 2.5 years, you won't be having health issues regularly. But when Mars in transit also comes in the same direction, for example, at present Saturn is in Aquarius. So when Mars comes in Gemini, that would be the period or that would be the month the native will have health issues. So this is how to narrow down the timing of event. The same rule as I told in the last videos of my transit. If Jupiter aspects this combination, which Jupiter, the transit Jupiter, if aspects this combination, that period can be of some relief. If Saturn is in the same direction and at that time Jupiter in transit also comes in the same direction and aspects this combination, then there will be some relief. Or Jupiter comes just opposite to this combination, or transit Jupiter comes over this combination. In any way, Jupiter if aspects this combination, the transit Jupiter, then that period can be a relief for the native. But if there is no benefic aspect, Saturn comes in transit in the same direction wherever your Mars and Jupiter are placed in a particular sign. That period can be a very troublesome period for you, especially when transit of Mars also comes in the same direction. So this is the first part of my Mars following Jupiter. In the next, I'll take up some other planet and explain you when Mars follows the other planet, what happens, how the timings are also taken into consideration. So I'll end my session here. It's a very important video for students who are learning Nadi astrology. Thank you very much. Have a nice